We're moving into the top of the 8th inning. Philadelphia leading 1-0. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Florida Marlins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Marlins. Look from our center field camera at the playing field. The Fanatic entertaining here. Chuck Carr to lead it off. Carr tonight is 0 for 3. A little low to Carr. That's on the inside corner. Been impressed with Rivera, especially his off-speed stuff, and he changes speeds very well.
There's no question about that. His best pitch is that curveball.
That one got up a little high. Oh, no. Yeah. For a moment, I thought they'd ask for the appeal and got it. 2 balls and 1 strike. Now you can ask for an appeal on that play.
There's David West and Larry Anderson out there. The left-hander is West and the right-hander Anderson. And Chuck Carr comes through with a base hit into left field.
Carr connecting into left. Congratulated by Vada Pinson. Potential tying run at first. Nobody out here. 8th inning.
Well, the Marlins have tied the Phillies in the hit department, with Chuck Carr coming through right there on the outstretched arm of Kevin Stocker. And Chuck Carr, I'm sure, will be up there trying to get to second base, possibly a stolen base. You know that Marquise Grissom is on his heels with 45. Don't know what he's done tonight, but Alex Arias might be up there trying to sacrifice him.
That first pitch was outside for a ball.
Or you can maybe look to see Alex Arias maybe hitting and running right here too.
He's reading the signs from Cookie Rojas. Carr, of course, leading the league in stolen bases with 50. Truck holding over there at first. 8th inning. Phillies leading 1-0. This crowd sitting rather quietly here. There goes Carr. They pitched out, but it doesn't make any difference. Stolen base number 51.
Well, Chuck Carr got an outstanding jump, and the biggest thing was that they were smelling steel, and Rivera with a slow delivery to home and didn't give Darren Dalton a very good chance, and Dalton throws the ball on the opposite side of the bag, and you see right here he steps out, but the throw was high, and by the time he was able to bring it back to his hand, Chuck Carr was diving in safely.
2 balls and no strikes to Arias, and Arias trying to bunt Carr to third. Fouled it down the right side.
Yeah, he was trying to do something similar to what Morandini did, except from his standpoint, being a right-handed hitter, he was trying to push bunt. But any which way he can, he's trying to advance Carr to get him into scoring position with less than 2 outs.
Alex this season has started 30 games at second, 15 at third, and 12 at shortstop. Versatile young man. 2 balls and 1 strike. 3-1. Ball got away from Dalton a little bit, but Carr didn't want to take any chances.
See, this is one of those anticipation plays from the runner at second base, and Dalton blocks this ball, but look at how far it bounces back, and he was already about 10 feet away from the ball. Had Chuck Carr been thinking third base, he would have been able to go in there almost standing up.
3 balls and 1 strike. A full count. Payoff pitch coming to Arias with Chuck Carr out there at second. Fouled away. Paid attendance here tonight, 31,556. This 3-game series draws about 94,000, something like that. 94, 95,000. Slapped on the ground to the right side, and this will allow Carr to get the third, and they get him at first. Arias flying down there made it a close play, but he did move Carr along.
And Alex Arias does his job. You could see even on the previous pitch that he fouled off, he was trying to go to the opposite field, and this ball grounded to Kruk, and Kruk grabs it, and then as he's running, flips it to Rivera, and then Rivera turns and looks to see if Carr was making the wide turn and holds him at third.
And Arias being congratulated for getting the job done, as you mentioned, Gary. And now Conine. Jeff has struck out twice and flied to right.
And the infield is all pulled in to try and cut that run down at home, and the outfield pretty much straight up and relatively deep.
And Conine went around. Conine's been baffled by this guy.
Yeah, he really has. He's been fooled on a lot of his breaking stuff, and also showing a little bit too much anxiousness on the first pitch.
Johnny Johnstone in the pen for the Marlins. A little high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Well, he's been close with those last 2 pitches, but as far as that goes, he is just missing. See Dalton setting up on the outside corner, and he's just missing by about 3 or 4 inches.
Carr coming home as Conine hits it into right, and it's a 1-1 game. Well, that time Conine was able to wait on it, slap it to the right side, and he picks up the RBI, his 73rd of the year.
And a good job of hitting by Jeff Conine on this breaking ball. He stays with it, goes opposite field. Wasn't hit very hard, but on a 2-1 pitch, he was looking for the breaking ball and stayed with it and got the job done, driving in Carr.
Carrillo tonight is 1 for 3. Slide to left, hit into a double play, and doubled and was stranded at third in the 6th inning. 1 ball and no strikes to Mateus Carrillo. One on and 1 out. We're in the 8th. A 1-1 game now. That's a little low. 2 balls and no strikes.
With that base hit by Jeff Conine, it takes Pat Rapp off the hook now, and this game is in the hands of the Colonel, Joe Klink, and also Ben Rivera. And I'm sure Jim Fregosi is hoping that Ben Rivera can just get out of this inning. He is due up first in the bottom half of the 8th.
There's Klink. That's on the outside corner. 2-1. Jim Fregosi. 151 homers and drove in 706 runs in his major league career. He's a scrappy player, as I remember. Two and 2. Fregosi, I'm reminded, was traded to the Mets for Nolan Ryan.
Many moons ago.
Many moons. chopper. Rivera makes the tag. Conine is at second with the potential go-ahead run for Brett Barbary. 2 out.
And Carrillo just hits this right off of the ground, and on one bounce, Ben Rivera decides to make the tag, the unassisted play himself, and holds Conine at second. And Darren Daulton is going to go out and take a few moments and let Ben Rivera know that with Barbary, the left-handed hitter, in an open base, going to be very careful and cautious in pitching to Brett Barbary, even though Brett Barbary has been struggling as of late.
Brett is 1 for his last 20.
And of course, you got the right-handed hitting Bobby Nadel on deck. Nate.
Strike to Barbary. We're at Veterans Stadium. Live coverage of the Marlins on Sunshine Network this evening. 1-1 game. Florida's out hit Philadelphia now 5-4. Barbary was able to hold up on that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Barbary hitting .271. Right-handed, 315 left-handed. And on the DL twice this year. He just did get out of the way of that move. Ball bounded off the bat. Marlins have plated 1 here in the top of the 8th inning to tie this game. Carr coming across on the single by Conine. Barbary to the right side. Ronnie Kruk comes on and makes the play. It's a 1-1 game after 7.5 innings. All tied up here in Philadelphia. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Gatorade for that deep down body thirst. Chicago beats St. Louis. Montreal's leading Atlanta. New York over Pittsburgh. LA 3-1 over Cincinnati. San Francisco and Houston still scoreless in the 5th inning. Detroit over Milwaukee. Baltimore and Cleveland tied 2-2 in the 7th. Minnesota 4-1 over New York in the 7th. Boston leads Toronto 4-2 in the 7th. And as we start the bottom of the 8th, we get a pinch hitter here, Wes Chamberlain. Chamberlain is hitting .325 against left-handed pitching. And he is 3 for 18 as a pinch hitter this year. The batting average at .275. The pitch is inside from Klink. Rivera goes 8 innings, 5 hits, gave up a run, it was earned, struck out 7, walked 4. He threw 120 pitches, 72 of them for strikes. Nadel and Klink talking it over.
Well, I think that Joe Klink crossed up Bob Nadel, and generally that doesn't happen when you only put down one sign. And if they were watching right there too, the umpires, they could have tacked on another ball because Joe Klink had gone to his mouth, but Nadel was fooled and that ball hit him like right on the wrist.
Chamberlain's 27 years old, from Chicago.
And we're going to see what kind of signals that Bobby Nadel gives. 2 should be a curveball. Oh, this time he just wasn't able to catch it.
2-0.
I think his hand is hurting because that ball really caught him right there on the heel in the front part of the wrist. And there's the Wild thing starting to get ready. Number 99.
Picked up his 40th save here last night. Strike on the outside corner to Chamberlain. And Armstrong up again. Chamberlain hits it out to Barbary. And he is the first out here in the bottom of the 8th inning. And now this crowd anticipates something maybe happening, as the man that can make it happen is stepping in there. Dykstra, ground rule double, scored the only run of the game for the Phillies back in the first.
Most valuable dude, huh?
He's grounded out in the 3rd and in the 5th. And crowd of more than 31,000 here tonight, and most of them are still here. Low. Dykstra's hitting .286 against left-handed pitching. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Top of the 7th. Montreal up 5-1 on Atlanta. The Expos falling. Well, at the moment they're not, but they're in trouble. There's another one inside, and it's 3-0 to Dykstra.
Especially the game right here presently, if the Phillies are able to come back and win this now that the Marlins have tied things up, well, it would be a large win for them, even though if Montreal wins, they still have that 5.5 game lead.
Well, Dykstra is walked. The second walk given up by Klink. Dykstra now with 123 walks this season. Mel Roberts coaching at first base there. The San Francisco-Houston game. The Giants have broken through 1-0.
And I understand that Billy Swift has a one-hitter at the Dome.
And now a balk is called against Klink. Uh-oh.
Well, it appeared to me, Jay, that he did not come to a complete stop, and he tried to deliver the pitch without coming to much of a set position. And right here, we'll take a look at it. Yeah, and it just didn't stop very much, and it looked like it was Terry Tata and Jerry Davis almost combined that called the balk.
A foul at the plate. Well, we had a balk called here last night against Don Paul in the 7th inning. It allowed Chuck Carr to score. And now Dykstra is out there at second. No balls and 1 strike the count. Morandini. A bunt single in the 1st, grounded out, then singled in the 6th. And the runner going, and out. And Larry Boa arguing with Eric Gregg. Dykstra upset. Here comes Fergosi.
It seemed like Lenny Dykstra had a pretty decent jump from second base. And we're going to take a look here from this angle. Nato with a very strong throw, and Alex Arias' tag looks like he just caught him on the hand before he got it into the base. And
good call. It was very close.
It was a very correct call by Eric Gregg. And that pretty much takes the Phillies right out of this inning. Lenny Dykstra started things off with that base on balls and was balked to second, but then trying to show his aggressiveness is now thrown out by Bob Nadel at third base.
And 0-2 the count to Morandini. Nobody on, 2 out. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Larry Gregg was certainly in the right position to make the call, and it was a close one, but on that replay it looked like he made the right one. This is a high sky foul pop-up that is handled by Nadel. And after 8 innings, the crowd here is a little displeased. It's a 1-1 game. Guarantee yourself a seat for the historic inaugural game. For season and group tickets, call toll-free 930-0700. And for individual game seats, you can call Ticketmaster, visit your local Ticketmaster outlet, or the box office at the Miami Arena. Larry Anderson, who pitched an inning here last night, did a nice job in the 8th inning, getting Arias, Whitmore, and Nadel 1, 2, 3. Comes into the game here to pitch the 9th inning. Anderson has the Philadelphia staff's best strikeout per innings pitched ratio. Remember, coming up, more television coverage of these Marlins Friday night. Cormier and Hammond, the pregame at 7. And on Saturday, televised with Alan Watson against Charlie Huff. Pregames at 6:30. Bob Nadel leads it off. We are in the 9th inning, 1-1. Nadel has walked, singled, and flied to right. Outside for ball. Right-handers batting .200 against Larry Anderson. He was on the DL with a inflamed right shoulder back in May. Spent most of the month of May on the DL. You see Harvey getting up in the pen now with Armstrong for the Marlins. This is slashed foul.
There's a look at Armstrong and Harvey.
One ball and 2 strikes. Nadel with a stolen base tonight. Hits it into short center field. Dykstra coming, gets there.
And Dykstra has to run a long way, but then makes the easy grab.
Darrell Whitmore. He's 0 for 3 this evening. A little low.
You know, in a statistic, Joe Klink is one of only a couple of pitchers that are winless from a pitcher on the standpoint of being on the staff the entire year. So hopefully the Marlins can come through here for him and get his first victory in the '93 campaign.
We are in the top of the 9th inning. High chop by Whitmore. Tough play for Morandini, and safe at first. Well, Morandini knew he was in trouble. He had to go way to his right, the high hop, and a base hit for Whitmore.
And that's your basic AstroTurf infield hit that backs Morandini into the outfield, then has to try and hurry his throw, throws low, and pulls Kruk off the bag. And some great hustle from Darrell Whitmore, sliding in, diving head first, and getting that infield knock.
Walt Weiss tonight has walked, rounded out, and popped out. 0 for 3. 1 on and 1 out, top of the 9th inning. Sheffield has come out on deck. A little low. 2 balls and no, or check it, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And they are really guiding the lines. Mickey Morandini is shading towards second base. There's a wide open spot for Walt Weiss. If he can just pull the ball here. Kruk is holding his ground there, especially when he's holding on Whitmore at first base.
And that's what he does through the right side. Whitmore holds on. There was a lot of room, Gary. You picked it out, and he was able to see that and bang it through there. Nice hitting by Walt Weiss. And Sheffield will be at the dish. Here it is.
Well, and sometimes you have to go up there looking for the holes, and Larry Anderson throws a lot of those cutters, and I explained it last night that a cutter is like a fastball but has a little bit of movement on it. It's not quite like a slider because it doesn't break as much. Walt Weiss got enough of it through the right side and on into right field. Not enough to get Whitmore to third base because it was hit too sharply, but now Gary Sheffield up there to try and add to the damage here.
Sheffield 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Not playing because of that shoulder problem. Looks at one outside. Sheffield hitting .284 this season against right-handers and hitting .327 in his last 75 games. Really bothered by that tendonitis in his right shoulder. That caught the inside corner. 1-1. Whitmore's at second. Weiss is at first. We're in the 9th inning in a 1-1 game. 2 on, 1 out. Sheffield had a whack, came up empty.
Well, he was trying to give the Marlins a 3-run lead with that swing.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Time called. Sheffield steps back in. Larry Anderson in relief of Ben Rivera. That's high. 2-2. Klink went 2 innings, gave up no hits, no runs, struck out none, walked 2, had a balk, 27 pitches. Mason and West in the Phillies pen. 2-2 the count. Sheffield again calls time. Wheels are turning here between Sheffield and Anderson. Struck him out. Sheffield looks back at Greg Bonin.
And Gary Sheffield a little baffled. I think Greg Bonin was very generous in this pitch. It looked like it was about 6 inches off, almost a foot off the plate. And the way Larry Anderson throws, a lot of those cutters, and Greg Bonin gave it to him.
A big strikeout for Anderson. Here is Chuck Carr. 1 for 4 on the evening. Carr has grounded out twice, lined out in the 8th. He singled, stole a base, and scored. Strike at the letters. Stalker over to Morandini. The Marlins strand 2. It's a 1-1 game going to the bottom of the 9th. Here at Veterans Stadium, we're going to go to the bottom of the 9th inning, all tied up at 1. And Jack Armstrong, the third pitcher of the evening for the Marlins. Jack in his career against Philadelphia is 2-6. He's 8-15 this season. Made his first appearance out of the bullpen on the 12th at Los Angeles. Made 12 relief appearances last year with Cleveland. The Phillies have won 16 games this year in their final at bat. And this crowd has stayed around to cheer them on.
That's one of the reasons why they are in first place. When you can win games dramatically like that in your last at bat, that'll tell you the tale right there, winning those 16 games in their last at bat.
And it is the heart of the Phillies order here in the 9th. Kruk, Hollins, and Dalton. Kruk has grounded out twice and struck out. His ground out in the first was a very big double play. Phillies plated their only run in the first inning. A ground rule double by Dykstra. A bunt by Morandini. And then Kruk hit into the double play, and Dykstra scored on that play. 1-7-0 for the Marlins. 1-4-0 for the Phillies.
It's amazing the crowd reaction with Kruk showing some body language of trying to get out of a ball that was nearly right down the middle of the plate.
Strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Fly ball into left. A play made by Carrillo. Kruk got under it just a little bit. One out for Dave Hollins, who is 0 for 3 tonight. Outside. Two balls and no strikes.
Well, a couple of the Phillies pitchers had their rally caps on.
Turn them around, right?
Turn 'em around.
Chopper out to Barbary. Throws on in time. 2 gone for Darren Dalton. Dalton is 0 for 10 in this series. For 3 tonight with a fly ball into center field and a couple of ground outs to first. Strike at the knees from Armstrong. Armstrong probably has a lot of friends here. He's from New Jersey.
Right, his brother, I know, there's a possibility of being able to come to the game today.
Jack, who lives now in the West Palm Beach area, of course, but grew up not far from here. The 1-1 fouled off. 2-2. Phillies scored in the first. Dykstra crossing the plate. Marlins got their run in the 8th. A 1-1 game. Fouled away. The Marlins run came when Carr crossed the plate on a single for Conine. Conine picking up his 73rd RBI of the season. Rich Rodriguez going for the Marlins. Time called. Jim Fregosi sitting rather calmly watching this 1-1 affair. And here is a shot into the gap in left center. It goes all the way to the wall, and it's a double for Dalton. He was long overdue. His first hit in this series. Aaron Dalton represents the winning run out there. That's his 33rd double of the season.
And he goes the opposite field on a pitch a little bit inside to him, and he kind of inside outs it. The ball was down, and he drills it into the gap, and then it just kind of skipped off that wet turf and to the wall. And Aaron Dalton with a stand-up double. Now they're going to walk Jim Eisenreich to pitch to Milt Thompson. And of course, the reasoning behind that is just to be able to set up the force play at any base. Other than a home, of course, but what you're trying to do is just have some sort of a force out. And you certainly don't want to take a chance also with Jim Eisenreich, who's had an outstanding season for these Phillies.
It's the third walk issued to Eisenreich tonight, and he had a single to go with it back in the 4th. Eisenreich is not the problem for the Marlins right now. It is Dalton who represents the winning run out there. 2 on and 2 out. Nadel out to speak with Armstrong.
And Walt Weiss comes in too to check on the signs to make sure that with the series of signs that they use, that he knows what's going to be used, so he can flash some signs to Brett Barbary. Usually that's what transpires. The guys up the middle, they will at least allow one another to know who's supposed to cover on certain balls, but to know if they've got an open mouth or a closed mouth, whether or not it's a breaking ball or a fastball.
And the first pitch to Thompson is a strike. He has walked, grounded out, and hit into a double play. 0 for 2 on the evening. I mentioned at the start of the game that he's had good success against the Marlins. Coming in tonight, he'd hit over 300 against them.
Milt Thompson not very pleased with that call, as it just catches the outside corner.
Strike at the knees. Armstrong is out in front. 0-2. San Francisco still leading at Houston 1-0. They're in the 8th inning. Swing and a miss. Foul tipped, held by Nadel. Thompson strikes out. We're going to extra innings here at the Bet. So here we go for manager Rene Latchman and for manager Jim Fregosi. A little extra time here tonight. Alex Arias. Alex tonight is 1 for 3. Takes high Larry Anderson in his second inning of work. 1 ball and 1 strike. Marlins with an off day tomorrow. And that series with the Cardinals at Joe Robbie. Montreal coming in, and club finishes up with the Mets. Rob Nen in 10th. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Arias. Arias is 25 years old, graduated from George Washington High in New York City. A few of his friends came down from Gotham to see him play tonight. Oh, Gotham City. Outside. 2-2.
Batman.
Yes. There's Benny Santiago. Some seeds there. Slap to the right side. Kruk goes to the bag on his own. Arias is out number 1 here in the 10th. Konai has struck out. Flied to right, struck out, singled, and he picked up the RBI in the 8th inning to tie this game. And a nice piece of hitting to the right side. And 1 strike. And this to the right side, and wait a minute, what was Morandini thinking about?
No, it wasn't Morandini, it was Kruk. Kruk was guarding the line.
Is that his ball, you think?
It was definitely Kruk's ball. Morandini was playing more toward the second base bag, and that ball was cued off the end of the bag.
There was a mix-up there.
Well, Kruk, he just went right to the bag, thinking that Morandini was going to get to it. Morandini, of course, hesitated briefly, but then just had no play whatsoever. Right there, really, see, Kruk went right to the bag, thinking that Morandini was going to get to it. And Morandini, like I said, was shading more closer to the second base side. And Kruk just came right straight towards the line to first base and didn't even think about going over to try and get the ball.
8th hit for the Marlins. Here's Carrillo. Carrillo flied to left. He popped into a double play in the 3rd. Running error by Arias. He doubled in the 6th. Rounded out in the 8th. 1 strike the count to Mateus Carrillo. That's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. One on and 1 out. 10th inning if you're just joining us. A 1-1 game. Phillies have taken the first 2. Foul down the right side. Boy. Wish that had been inside the line. Done some business. He really ripped that. 1-2 to Carrillo. 10 games remaining after tonight for these clubs. Probably more than 10 for the Philadelphia Phillies. Larry Anderson in relief of Ben Rivera. Right to Kruk. Goes down to second, back to first. Double play. He'll go to the bottom of the 10th. 1-1. We're moving into the bottom of the 10th inning. Florida's out hit Philadelphia 8-5. It's going to be Stocker to lead it off.
And it looked like Ruben Amaro Jr.
That's who it is. Amaro's come out on deck.
Ruben Stocker's sign already. Number 19, we love you.
Stocker tonight is 0 for 3. Reached on a fielder's choice, struck out and grounded out. Jack Armstrong goes to work. Inside, ball 1.
There's David West starting to loosen up in the Phillies pen.
Just a little low. 2 balls and no strikes. Catches the outside corner. Inside, 3-1.
I don't know if you noticed too, Jay, but Jack Armstrong took off his long sleeve black undershirt and now has gone to the short sleeves. You saw the hat of Larry Anderson that was just soaking wet, so maybe the humidity is up a bit.
Full count. It's been a pleasant evening, although it is cooling off a little bit right now.
Still able to work up a sweat.
Worked up a pretty good sweat also.
That last pitch was clocked at 89 miles an hour.
Hit on the ground to Conine. Toss it is on and in time. Conine bobbled it for a moment but recovered and made the play. And now I think they've called Amaro back, haven't they?
Yep, and that ball came up on Jeff Conine perfectly after hitting him in the heel of the glove and then led Jack Armstrong right to the bag. Yeah, they're going to go ahead and save Ruben Amaro and now bring up Ricky Jordan, but a nice play by Conine as he stays right with that ball.
Conine getting the start at first tonight. Estrade's back acting up a little bit. Ricky Jordan hitting .299 at the vet this season. He is 15 of 50 as a pinch hitter, has 5 RBIs. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Anderson did a nice job. 2 innings, 3 hits, no runs, struck out 1, didn't walk anybody. Threw 29 pitches, 21 of them for strikes. 0-2 to Jordan. There's Anderson. Did his part here. You're just joining us, just getting home. It's a 1-1 game. We're in the bottom of the 10th inning. Here in Philadelphia, the Marlins and the Phillies in the final game between these two clubs this season. Slap foul. Jordan has a .314 career average in the months of September and October. He has 11 hits in his last 27 pinch hit at bats. Right now Armstrong out in front, 0-2. Deep in the hole, off Arias's glove. It's a base hit for Jordan as that ball ricocheted off Arias's glove as he was going to his left.
And Alex Arias with a great effort, but right off the top part of his glove and then on into left field. But Walt Weiss was right there to back things up. And now with the base hit by Ricky Jordan, Ruben Amaro will be pinch running for him now at first base. There's Ruben.
And Amaro, of course, had a lot to do with last night's win with his bunt in the 7th inning. And he would later score on Dykstra's home run. And Stalker came all the way home on that bunt, and there was an error tied in there also, of course. Here is Lenny Dykstra. Strike on the outside corner. Dykstra with a ground rule double. Scored when Kruk hit into a double play in the 1st. And he grounded out in the 3rd and the 5th. He walked in the 8th inning. Ended up at 2nd and then was thrown out trying to steal 3rd. He got to 2nd on a balk.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that he attempted to try and steal 3rd base, but it was a great throw by Bob Nato that nabbed him there.
Up the middle. And the winning run is out there at 2nd with Ruben Amaro.
And Lenny Dykstra once again coming through and drilling this ball into center field, and it almost took the head of Jack Armstrong off. And Rene Latchman now on his way to the mound, and he's going to go to the pen and bring in Rich Rodriguez to pitch to the left-handed hitting Mickey Morandini.
It is a 1-1 game here in the bottom of the 10th. Armstrong leaving. Rodriguez coming to the mound. He's up among the leaders in pitching appearances. Mickey Morandini. Philadelphia is 1 for 7 with an RBI with runners in scoring position tonight. Morandini, bunt single in the 1st, grounded out in the 3rd, singled in the 6th, fouled out in the 8th. Out to Barbary. Makes the play to 1st. He tried to tag Dykstra, but couldn't wait too long and just made the play over there. So now Amaro is at 3rd.
On a slow hit ball, Dykstra able to get under the tag and avoid it from Brett Barbary, and Barbary then goes on to first base, but that winning run only 90 feet away.
And this crowd on its feet for the mountain man, Kruk, who's going to be intentionally passed, and they won't like that. They won't like that.
Talk about going against the percentages here. Rene Latchman going to load him up to pitch to the switch hitting Dave Hollins, who bats right-handed, and John Kruk, of course, left-handed. So Rene Latchman going a little bit against the odds, although he does set up a force out at any base by walking John Kruk.
Well, this is interesting.
Yeah, and John Kruk has struggled tonight. I guess he figured with his overall average on the season at .316 and John Kruk being a key figure in that lineup, maybe Rene figures that he was due, so
He
go ahead and put him on.
I'm not going to let Kruk beat us. I don't know, but it's interesting. Now
Rene's going to come out and do a double switch. Yep.
Bases are loaded.
And Henry Cotto is going to come in, it looks like, and play for Darrell Whitmore. And Matt Turner looks like he's on his way in.
And with this pitching change, we'll take a timeout. Darrell Whitmore has now moved into left field. Henry Cotto is in right. Carrillo out of the game, and Turner, the new pitcher, will bat in the number 4 position in the lineup. Cotto in the number 9 spot, and Matt Turner is on. Against Philadelphia in his career, he is 0-1. He's 4-5 this year, 2.97 ERA. Here, most of them standing, and most of the 31,000 plus are still here tonight. The rally train sign on the board. Dave Hollins is grounded out, popped out. He grounded out again in the 6th and in the 9th, so he is 0 for 4. The bases are loaded. There's Amaro. He's the man that makes the difference. Dykstra and Kruk, but it is Amaro who carries the winning run at third here in the bottom of the 10th. High for a ball.
And this is the other thing that this does by walking John Kruk, is it's going to put additional pressure on Matt Turner to throw strikes. And the first pitch for a ball.
Strike on the outside corner, 1-1. Final score from Montreal. Expos 6, Atlanta 1.
And Jeff Fassaro is the one that started that game, and it looks like he picked up the win. Steve Avery, the starter for Atlanta.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Strike at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The bases loaded for the Phillies. Bottom of the 10th, the 1-1 game. Amaro, the winning run at third. If you're just joining us, it's been a dandy. Hollins fouls it back. The switch hitter. One ball and 2 strikes. Matt Turner on the mound. Pop back foul.
Well, you certainly can't ask for any more excitement than right here with the Expos winning already.
Here's one slashed into the seats. And some more baseballs for the plate umpire. There's the line score. Dykstra scored in the first. Conine got the RBI, scoring Carr in the 8th. 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dave Hollins. Hollins pops it up. Arias in foul territory. And the Phillies strand 3. We have played 10. We're still 1-1. Matt Turner gets the job done. On the mound now for the Phillies, among the National League leaders, 72 appearances. He's tied Don Carmen's club record for appearances by a lefty. Now we'll go ahead of that record, set in '85. Look at his figures. Nice job by Armstrong. 1 1/3 innings, no runs, struck out 1, walked 1, gave up 3 hits. And Matt Turner did the job, getting Hollins to foul out with the bases loaded. Barbary will lead it off in the 11th. Inside to Brett. Barbary 0 for 4 on the evening. He struck out in the 2nd, flied to center in the 4th, grounded out in the 6th and in the 8th inning. Turning around against the left-hander. Barbree hits it deep in the hole, and Stocker cannot get enough on the throw in time, and Barbree now represents the potential winning run here in the 11th inning with an infield single. He had gone 1 for 21 before coming up with that hit.
And using the elements here, the AstroTurf bounding ball that Stocker gets into the hole, makes the throw, but just doesn't have enough on it as Kruk has to come off the bag to make the catch. And Barbree there with a single on the night, and it's good to see him get a base hit here now in this situation. Maybe that'll take a little bit of pressure off of him.
And let's see what they're going to ask Nadel to do. Nadel tonight is 1 for 3. He walked in the second, singled, and stole his first base in the fourth. Grounded or flied out to right in the sixth, and flied to center in the ninth. Barbree was on the move.
And I think that the Phillies smelled something because the pitch appeared to be a pitch out, and Nadel, with the protection that he was able to come up with by at least fouling that ball off.
He just threw that bat at the ball,
yeah,
didn't he?
Sure did.
Did a good job there. And that's high, as it looked like Nadel was bunting. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, you take a look now here at this attempted hit and run. Barbree taking off, and look at how high the pitch was, and Nadel does a good job of fouling it off. So he did his job by protecting the runner. Well, let's see if Rene goes back to the hit and run after Nadel showed bunt.
No. And that's, well, he's got him running anyway. Now look out, and safe at first. They messed it up. Nadel legs it out.
Well, I'm sure what's going to happen is that the official score is going to rule this a sacrifice and an error. It appears like it was on the pitcher David West. The ball got by him, and then he tried to slap it to Mickey Morandini at first base. And all runners are safe. Barbree at second and Nadel at first. And now they're going to have a little bit of a conference on the mound between Hollins and Dalton. Kruk comes in a bit, but it's just a matter of just getting their signs right. Now it looks like it's going to be Rich Renteria now to pinch hit for Darrell Whitmore.
The secret weapon will come to the plate in this 1-1 game. It is a sacrifice and an error on the pitcher. And we have Barbree out there at second, representing the potential winning run here. Nadel at first. Renteria gets the call from Rene Lachemann. Florida is 1 for 10 with an RBI, with runners in scoring position tonight. I said earlier Philadelphia was 1 for 7 with an RBI. There was no RBI given,
right,
because of the double play. So they were 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position tonight. Now 1 for 8. Renteria takes high. Pitch squared around the bunt.
Yeah, and John Kruk was busting it hard, and Dave Hollins was holding his ground at third base. So the one play intact. That means David West has to get over to the third base line and try and field the ball if Rich Renteria is able to bunt it down the third base side.
Renteria batting .260. Bunts. Dandy play. The sacrifice as Kruk took it, tagged Renteria. Sack 3, and now Barbree at third and Nadel at second. Walt Weiss.
And a perfect bunt it was by Rich Renteria, deadening that ball, and Richie does his job.
Weiss tonight is 1 for 3. He walked in the second, grounded out in the fourth, popped out in the seventh, and singled in the ninth.
And they're going to intentionally pass him right here to pitch to Henry Cotto. Roger Mason still continues to loosen up in the Phillies pen. And you would think that maybe Jim Fregosi may go to his bullpen here. Roger Mason, the right-hander, and of course David West, the left-hander. But once again, Rene Latchman then would possibly counter with Pee Wee Briley, who bats left-handed. But we'll see what happens here in a second.
And getting a move. Here comes Fregosi, and he's going to make a pitching change.
And just as I had kind of said, Jay, Jim Fregosi going with the percentages, and David West got himself in a little bit of trouble, especially on the error on the sacrifice by Bob Nadeau. And now with these bases loaded, Roger Mason is going to come on. And we don't see anything happening yet on the on-deck circle. Henry Cotto still there, now being called back. And we'll see if maybe Rene does go, and it's going to be Orestes and not Pee Wee Briley. And I guess Orestes is okay to be able to swing the bat. So Orestes with an opportunity here to drive in the possible go-ahead and winning run. And he'll get his bat ready with a bunch of pine tar on it. So hopefully Orestes' back will be good enough for him to be able to go up there in this pinch hit role.
He did not start here tonight, and Conine started at first, and it was Carrillo starting in left. Roger Mason is the new pitcher, following Rivera, Anderson, and West. He is 4-4 in his 29 appearances as a Philly. Opponents hitting .217 since he joined the Phillies. He was acquired from San Diego. On July the 3rd for Tim Mauser. Well, a reminder, we're going to be on the air on Sunshine again on Friday evening. Real Cormier goes for the Redbirds and Chris Hammond for the Marlins. Pregame at 7. Then Saturday evening, Alan Watson for St. Louis. The knuckleballer Charlie Huff gets the call for the Marlins. The pregame at 6:30. Ryan Harvey's down there in the bullpen. We are here at Veterans Stadium with you. Jay Randolph along with Gary Carter. Sunshine Network's coverage of Marlin baseball. 1-1 the score. This is the first time that Estrade has been asked to pinch hit. His first time as a pinch hitter in this inaugural season for the Marlins. So can he make it a memorable first?
Well, as far as at bats go, he doesn't have an at bat as a pinch hitter. Now, he may have come up and he might have been intentionally passed, but he does not have an official at bat, hit, or anything in the pinch hit role.
He is 1 for 8 in this series. Mason has yielded 8 homers. That's foul back in 44 1/3 innings since he joined the Phillies. And that's the most home runs allowed by any of the Philly relievers. There is Barbary at third. Nadel out there at second. Weiss over at first. 1 out, 11th inning, a 1-1 game. Foul back. Roger Mason out in front, 0-2. Estrada stretching there. Stiffness in his back, preventing him from being in the starting lineup tonight, but apparently he felt that give it a shot here as a pinch hitter. High and outside.
Roger Mason does have a fastball that's not overpowering. He has a slider and a split finger. Majority of the time he throws a lot of sliders with the left-handed Destrade up there, though. He is staying with a lot of hard stuff away, and that last pitch was that split finger out of the strike zone.
Struck him out. Marching back to the dugout.
And here was that off-speed pitch once again, a split finger that just cuts the outside part of the plate, and home plate umpire Greg Bonham rings up Restes, and Restes was not pleased with the call. Very close.
Chuck Carr standing in with the bases loaded, trying to bunt, popped it back. Carr tonight is grounded out in the first, lined out in the second, grounded out in the fifth. He singled, stole his 51st base of the season, and scored in the 8th. And then grounded out again in the 9th. Here we are with Carr, and the bases loaded. 0-2 now to Carr. First 9 innings, the Marlins stranded 9, the Phillies 6. Carr strokes it into left. Thompson makes the catch. We're still 1-1 here at the Vet. Here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Sunshine Network's live coverage of the Marlins tonight. Extra innings here. 1-9-0 for Florida, 1-7-1 for Philadelphia. Into the bottom of the 11th. Conine now is in left field. Greg Briley will play right field. Orestes Destrade stays into the game, and he'll be at first base. Briley will bat in the number 7 slot. It is Conine, Carr, and Briley in the outfield. Arias, Weiss, Barber, and Destrade on the infield. Matt Turner's pitching. Bob Nadel catching. Here's Darren Dalton. Dalton, who had gone 0 for 10 in the series, doubled in the 9th and was stranded at second. He is 1 for 4 on this evening. And a high fly ball. Catch made out there. When he hit it, these folks just came to their feet. He got under it a little.
Just a little bit.
Jim Eisenreich, he's been walked 3 times tonight. He singled in the 4th. He was intentionally passed in the 9th. Strike on the inside corner. Conine. Quickly there, 2 gone. Milt Thompson will come to the plate. Nobody on. Thompson tonight is 0 for 3. Inside, ball 1. Minnesota beat the Yankees 5-2. Into right field. Thompson, a 2-out single. He represents the winning run here in the bottom of the 11th.
pitch. Matt Turner elects to go with the breaking ball, and Thompson deposits it on into right field. Riley gets it in quickly, and Thompson has himself a base hit.
Kevin Stocker, the shortstop, is 0 for 4.
And Pete Incaviglia has come out on deck. Saw him running in the outfield yesterday, but still is not quite ready. But it's not going to matter now with the fly ball hit to Chuck Carr.
11 innings have been played. It's a 1-1 game here in Philadelphia. Alex Arias, Jeff Conine, and a pinch hitter expected here. Roger Mason out on the mound for the Phillies. Arias with a high chopper and no chance. Arias leads off with a single. Good job by Alex. That shot deep in the hole, his second hit of the evening.
And Alex Arias gets this breaking ball and chops it into the ground way back in the hole, and really Kevin Stocker had no play. So Alex Arias with another knock on the night.
And Stocker was wise just to hold on to that ball. Now Conine this evening is 2 for 5. Matt Turner is on deck. Manager Rene Latchman is getting down to a very precious few when it comes to pinch hitters at this point. Conine fouls it back. Yeah, you've got Santiago down there, but don't know how his hand is. Terry McGriff. And we did have Hammond on one occasion this year. Pinch hit.
Yep. So there is that possibility that Rene Latchman may go to Chris Hammond, being that the right-handed throwing Roger Mason is out on the mound. Brian Harvey continues to loosen up in the Marlins pen. And Jeff Conine, surprisingly up there, was trying to bunt, and he's squaring around again.
Foul back.
Well, this is something that Jeff Conine has not been asked upon too much this year, to try and advance the runner. And you can tell by this effort right here, that ball just took off of his bat, and now has got himself in a hole at 0-2.
Conine has the Marlin RBI tonight. It came in the 8th inning when he got Carr home. And he hits this one into center field. Dykstra makes the play. Conine asked to sacrifice, couldn't get the job done. And it is Benito Santiago who comes out.
So Matt Turner with a good job, Jay, coming in, picking up Richie Rodriguez and getting Dave Hollins to foul out with the bases loaded. And then in the 11th inning, they only allowed the base hit to Milt Thompson, and now it's going to be Benny Santiago, and there's his numbers on the year: in '93, a .231 average, 13 home runs, and 49 RBI. So it'll be interesting to see how Benny can handle the bat.
He is 1 for 4 as a pinch hitter. Has that banged up hand.
That base hit has been on this road trip. That pinch hit that he got in Chicago.
Fouls this back.
He says he's all right to swing the bat, but he's still having problem with the bruised hand around the index finger area in receiving the ball.
outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Turner going 1 1/3 innings. Gave up a hit, no runs. He didn't strike out any or walk any. Just coming home and turning on the set, folks. It is 1-1. We're in the 12th inning. Phillies got a run in the first. Marlins got a run in the 8th. And he pops it up. Kevin Stocker, the shortstop, makes the play. Brett Barbary will come to the plate. Arias led off with a single. Still down there at first. Barbary 1 for 5 tonight. Got the infield single to start the 11th. Marlins stranded 3. Foul ball down the right side. No balls and 1 strike. It caught the outside corner. Barbary couldn't pull the string. Roger Mason out in front. 0-2. Nadel would be next. The middle. Barbary comes through. His second hit in a row. Arias is out there with a potential winning run at second. Bob Nadel coming up.
And sometimes getting a hit the previous at bat has Barbary stay on this nasty split finger from Roger Mason, and he drills it on up the middle. And sets up, like Jay said, that winning run at second base for a chance for Bobby Nadel.
Nadel walked in the second, singled, stole his first base in the 4th. Fly to right in the 6th, to center in the 9th, and sacrificing, reached on the error by the pitcher back in the 11th inning. That error charged to David West. 1 ball and no strikes. Two on and 2 out. 12th inning. One ball and 1 strike. Jim Fregosi, the manager of these Philadelphia Phillies. Montreal has already won. Philadelphia 10-6 in extra inning games. Florida 4-6 in extra inning games. They're always tightening up the back of those batting gloves. Renee Latchman. Interesting contest. Marlins have had 6 runners in scoring position since the 8th inning. Struck him out. 2 more stranded. 1-1 the score going to the bottom of the 12th. Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, and most of this crowd of better than 31,000 have hung on here. A 1-1 game. Friday Friday night. The Cardinals and the Marlins. The pregame at 7 for you on Sunshine, and we'll be right back at you on Saturday evening. Game 2 of the Cardinals series. Watson against Huff with a pregame at 6:30. No television for you on Sunday. A day off tomorrow. Benito Santiago now doing the catching. And on the mound, Ryan Harvey. 1-4, the 1.57 ERA, 45 saves. Pete Incaviglia will be the pinch hitter. Incaviglia, who was out in the on-deck circle in the 11th. There he is, 6-22 as a pinch hitter this season with 5 RBIs. He's been out since straining the left calf on September the 14th in New York while he was running the bases. And his status has been day to day, but he gets the call here as both managers are down to the end of the road. Incaviglia's batting average .281. They flash up on the big board. Inky.
And what a year he has had. That .281 average, those 23 home runs and 87 RBI in only 342 at-bats.
Earlier this year, he homered in 4 straight games. Ball 1 to Incaviglia. There's that Inky sign that they flash up. This fellow's hitting .387 in his last 20 games. Ball 2.
He's also hit some mammoth shots here at Vet Stadium. He's in that IBM tail of the tape. The one who leads that now is Mark Whitten with a 464-foot shot that he hit in that 4-homer night in Cincinnati. Willie Stargell's star up there. And Brian Harvey falls behind. 3-0. That's where Willie Stargell placed one time up there in the runway in the upper deck here at Vet Stadium.
Montreal has defeated Atlanta. The walk to Incaviglia. A winning run at first with nobody out. Mason went 1 2/3, gave up no runs on 2 hits. He struck out 2, walked none, and Longmire will come out to run. Tony Longmire. He's up from the International League where he was on the All-Star team. Comes Rene Lachemann, and there may be a problem with Harvey.
Well, Brian Harvey has been getting treatment on that groin, and that last pitch seemed to really bother him in walking Pete Incaviglia. Larry Starr out there, and of course Brian Harvey, being as country as they come, is shaking his head saying, oh, I guess I'm all right. But you see Marcel and Rene out there very concerned. And you certainly don't want to hurt your star reliever here.
In Chicago the other day, when he got the save there, he was limping badly. He really was.
So what an outing that was to finish off the game and striking out the side. And Richie Lewis begins to loosen up now in the Marlins pen. But there is a lot of concern. Marcel is on his way, and now Rene back to the Marlins dugout. Seems as though that Brian Harvey has convinced Larry Starr and company that he's all right, so it looks as though he's going to stay in there.
Well, he's going to try to throw.
No, he's not going to.
Let's see.
He told Greg Bonin that he's okay, and then Greg Bonin signals to Jim Fregosi that it's no trip to the mound by Rene Lachemann. Brian Harvey will now go to work on Lenny Dykstra.
Harvey has walked Incaviglia. Longmire is running at first, and he represents the winning run here.
And Lenny Dykstra may be up there trying to advance the runner. Well, you can tell that Brian Harvey is hurting. He is limping badly, and now Rene is not going to take any more of a chance. Brian Harvey is going to come out of this ball game, it looks like. He just really is hurting that groin area.
He's limping. You can see it, and he's in some
Well,
pain.
he gave a wave to the dugout like, I can't go anymore. And Lenny Dykstra had made a note, remember, when he was talking to Paul Kennedy earlier, that they were very lucky that they didn't have to face Brian Harvey. But an injured Brian Harvey is not what they were hoping for here in the Marlins here in this 12th inning.
For the Marlins tonight, Rapp started. Klink, Armstrong, Rodriguez, Turner, Harvey, and now Lewis. And there is Longmire at first. Strade holding over there. 1 ball and no strikes. The count to Dykstra as we resume play, and Richie throws over. The coach there at first.
Well, Longmire at AAA had a 304 average in 120 ball games with 12 stolen bases. So he has some decent speed over there. And Lenny Dykstra has been their catalyst all year. It'd be interesting to see what he's up there trying to do right now.
And a high chop, it gets by. Longmire will go to third. And look at Dykstra. He's a happy guy, and so is this big crowd. Got the AstroTurf bounce down the right side. His 3rd hit of the night.
And using the elements, hitting this Richie Lewis fastball into the AstroTurf and out of the reach of Destrade. And Longmire had one thing in mind, to get to third base. And Pee Wee's throw in had no chance. Dykstra with a very big hit here in the bottom of the 12th inning to send Longmire 90 feet away from being the winning run.
And if you're asking yourself at home, would Conine have gotten to that ball? He might have, but he wasn't playing down there. Morandini. Morandini tonight is 2 for 5. The winning run at third. Ball 1 to Morandini. Longmire carries the victory. In the dirt. Oh, and a good stop by Santiago. Colorado was leading San Diego 5-0 in the 7th inning. And there you see a very concerned Rene Lachemann. Here's a look at this pitch, Gary.
Yeah, and a nasty curveball in the dirt that Santiago keeps in front of him. So great play, Benny. And even holds Dykstra at first base. Destrade is not even holding Dykstra on, and hopes to try and cut the run down at home. The infield is playing in.
2 balls and 1 strike.
The outfield also playing in shallow. Morandini not with a whole lot of power, only 3 home runs on the year.
2-2. The game on the line here in the bottom of the 12th. Look around this stadium. Not many people have stayed, and most of them are standing.
Well, with the Montreal Expos already winning tonight, this is a big ball game for these Phillies to try and maintain that 5.5 game lead in the East.
Oh, it hit him. Morandini takes a shot.
Boy, it looked like that ball got him right in the small of the back. And it looks like he's going to be okay, but I don't think there was any way that Morandini was going to be able to get out of the way of that pitch. A live fastball from Richie Lewis. You know, and I was already thinking a little bit ahead, Jay, if the Marlins were going to be able to get Morandini out, what were they going to do? Going to pitch to Kruk, or were they going to intentionally walk him to set up the force play and then pitch to Hollins again? Well, this time it's a little bit different of a scenario. When he hit Morandini, and now bases are loaded, and the mountain man, there's no place to put him, so you got to pitch to him.
And there are no outs. Bottom of the 12th inning. Kruk tonight is 0 for 4. For the most part this season, he has feasted on Marlins pitching.
And once again, set the stage for you here. The infield playing way in, and the outfielders shallow in the outfield.
And a strike to Kruk. Kruk coming in tonight, batting .319, 83 RBIs. In the dirt.
And you see Fregosi giving the sign to Mel Roberts at first base and Mickey Morandini that if the line drive is hit, to make sure that all runners get back to their bases respectfully.
1 ball and 1 strike to Kruk. One and 2. Both these clubs left the bases loaded late. The Phillies in the 10th. The Marlins in the 11th. Bases loaded, nobody out. 12th inning, 1-1 game. Kruk at the plate. Longmire, the winning run down there at third. Two and 2. Arias, Weiss, Barbary, and Destrati on the infield. Conine, Carr, and Briley in the outfield, and as Gary told you, the outfielders in close, the infield in tight. Lewis could certainly use the strikeout here.
This would certainly be a remarkable performance by Richie Lewis if he can get himself out of this jam now. 3-2 count, nobody out, and the bases loaded, nowhere to put the mountain man. And I mean, to tell you, he's got to come up with some sort of unhittable pitch right here to try and get Johnny Kruk.
Here we go. Struck him out. Well, that's one.
That is one, and what an outstanding pitch by Richie Lewis. Said he had to pull one out of his bag of tricks, and he comes up with a nasty breaking ball on the outside part of the plate, and it was nasty to get Kruk on strikes. And you can see John Kruk jam that bat into the bat rack in the Phillies dugout.
Dave Hollins is 0 for 5. Back in the 10th inning, Turner got him to foul out with the bases loaded. Here he is, bases loaded, 1 out. Longmire there at third, carrying the winning run. Strike on the inside corner. Colorado leading San Diego 5-0, 7th inning at Mile High Stadium. Detroit beat Milwaukee 8-4. 1-1 game, 12th inning. Game on the line again. Into right field. The Phillies win it. The Philadelphia Phillies stay 5.5 in front of Montreal as they get their 17th victory in their final at bat. This one in extra innings tonight, and the Phillies are now 11-6 in extra inning games, 6-1 at home. The Marlins go to 4-7 in extra inning games, 0-4 on the road. We'll be back.